Well, you are listening to Meet the Chicago Historians live and direct on YouTube, Internet, through the broadcast facilities of the John DeVitter Broadcast Center and the northwest side of Chicago. Well, today is Monday, and it is the 19th day of December. The year is 2011. And, of course, you know what's knocking on the front door, friends. Oh, yes, rain, snow, sleet, and whatever. And, of course, you got to make sure that your vehicle is in tip-top shape. Yes, you got to make sure that you got good tires on your vehicle, you got a good, strong battery, you got antifreeze in the radiator, motor oil, power steering fluid, brake fluid, and anything to make your vehicle run safe. And you can do that by stopping at Berkeley Auto Supply, which is located at 5237 St. Charles Road in Berkeley. They're on St. Charles Road. They are west of Mannheim Road and just east of Wolf Road on the south side of the street. Stop in and see Tom. He'll take good care of you. Make sure that whatever you need for your vehicle, that he will take good care of you and help you with it. That's Berkeley Auto Supply Incorporated, which is located at 5237 St. Charles Road in Berkeley. His phone number is area code 708-544-8350. And Tom is behind his counter Monday through Friday from 8 in the morning until 8 o'clock at night. He's there on Saturdays from 8 until 6 and Sundays from 10 until 3. That's Berkeley Auto Supply, 5237 St. Charles Road in Berkeley, Illinois. Whatever you need for your vehicle, from front bumper to the rear bumper, from the top of the roof to the bottom of the chassis, Tom has got it. He's got a great showroom full of material, anything you need for your vehicle, tools, motor oil, antifreeze, power steering fluid, brake fluid, tires, batteries, windshield wiper blades, light bulbs for your stop and go stop lights and your turn directionals, and whatever you need for your vehicle, from bumper to bumper, from the top of the roof until the bottom of the chassis. Berkeley Auto Supply, 5237 St. Charles Road in Berkeley, area code 708-544-8350. Berkeley Auto Supply. And now let's get back to our final session of Meet the Chicago Historians. And here once again is our moderator, Jack Ryan. Go ahead, Jack. It's all yours.
Hello again.
Well, when you're Catholic, you can say, yeah, I'm going to do something wrong, but I'll confess it next week.
We're having more fun here than...
Of course, the priest will tell you that you may not have the chance to confess it.
We're having more fun here than they did at our house party in those days. You know, say, turn around and shake hands with the guy in back here and all that stuff.
Are we back on?
We're back.
Are we?
We are back.
All right. Okay, John.
Now, where were we now?
Happy group.
Listen,
talking about catastrophes.
Getting back to OLA, I've got something here in the Fire Museum. We have a display of the OLA fire. One of our members, ex-members, made a copy of the what would you think? It's about 4x4.
Yeah, it's a model of the building
of the
as it looked
of the building.
The day of the fire with the ladders.
And the ladders
and the
are all up,
and
and you see the
hoses and
there's
stuff.
a bulb inside that goes on, and you can it looks like it's on fire, and that roof is open, and one of these days when we get all designed, and done, I want to invite those people over and see if they want.
What is the address of the Fire Museum?
5218 Southwestern Avenue.
There you go.
Chicago, Illinois.
Gee, almost
60632.
almost in the old neighborhood.
Close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Western, the longest street in Chicago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
What's the first street east of Harlem? Does anyone know?
First Street
Street
East?
Yeah.
Neva?
Troy. Troy, yeah.
Oh.
The rest are avenues.
Yeah. I knew you
Except
were.
Pulaski Road, you know.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Formerly Crawford Avenue, right?
Formerly Crawford, yeah. I still call it Crawford.
Yeah.
Crawford Avenue.
We old folks do, yes.
Yeah.
I used to look like Roby instead of Damon too.
No. But
It's okay to write in
that's
here, right?
you know it was
Writing on
changed
your
around
paper.
in the 20s, I think.
I know that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, when was Crawford changed?
God.
You know, I can.
30s, I think.
Yeah, 33.
Was that-
Mayor Kelly, because he had the backing of the Polish, supposedly Polish groups,
PNA?
yeah, PNA, et cetera. He said that he would change. I don't know if he said he was going to change Crawford, but he would get a street name to Pulaski, and it caused a big problem too because they changed. The city council changed it, but they didn't get permission from the people who own property under, particularly the Crawford Avenue Department Store, which was down
Oh,
on
yeah.
Madison.
Martha.
Which moved
Yeah.
out to Rolling Meadows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so there's a state law now that you have to get permission from over 50% of the homeowners, I guess you'd call it, or property owners, you know. So anyway,
Talk about redundancy. There's a section of Pulaski in Chicago, where they have these honorary streets, and apparently somebody pressed their alderman to have an honorary street named after Pulaski. The honorary street is right on Pulaski.
right,
in
yeah,
Chicago.
yeah, right at Avondale.
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
because I pull on to Pulaski.
Yeah.
You know, it's honorary Casimir Pulaski
Right,
Way.
and that's
On the street.
Pulaski Street.
On
Right.
the
Right.
rationale for
that.
Yeah, I was
the
gonna
same,
say.
duplicate the
Come
name.
on, this is a Polish joke, isn't it?
Just
No,
No.
no, this is a true story, and I wonder
Sorry,
about
sorry,
that.
folks.
What the hell is that
Oh,
about?
it's named already.
Yeah, it's named already.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Oh,
don't know.
Lord.
And those, I haven't, but my street is Ken Little Way, honorary.
Oh, you have a street named
Yeah,
after you?
right, Patterson
Okay.
and Cicero, but they're very reluctant to
Cost
do
us
that.
$10,000 to do that.
I didn't see a penny.
It's the honor that.
And just like in Robin Hood, Ken Little, I dub thee Little Ken.
Little
Little
John,
Yeah.
Little John. That's one of my relatives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I thought you had to be dead to have a street named after you.
Well, no,
Okay.
no.
I had to think about it.
Yeah, I had to think about it.
Am
Didn't
I
Strozier have
alive
the
or
hospital
am I
named after him when
dead?
he was alive, right? Strozier?
He wanted to.
I thought he
No,
did.
I think he did. Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
He-
John
he is gone
Strozier.
now, I mean,
He's
yeah.
gone now. Yeah. There are a few. I guess a few. That would be interesting. Buildings or anything named for someone who is alive. And
Well, there's the Thompson Center.
yeah,
named
that's
for
a good
Governor
example.
Is that
Thompson.
after Big Bill Thompson? Or,
No,
No, that's after Governor
Thompson.
Thompson.
Big Jim.
Big Jim
He
Thompson.
spent our money to build a building to be named for himself.
like
yeah.
kind of like the pharaohs with their pyramids and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
That
yeah.
building still doesn't work right, I guess.
Well, I
Still
think
the heating
the first
problems
time
here
it
in
rained
Chicago.
and
Well, for-
everything came down.
For one thing, it looks like an inverted toilet bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, it really
Well,
does. I call
it's not-
I
I
call
don't
it the
think it's a
tidy bowl
traffic
building.
no.
It's, but Jeffrey Barrett just had his walking tour of the Loop, etc.
Isn't that
it's
interesting?
oh.
Wow.
It is.
But that
yeah.
picture he had of the Thompson Center, it is really spectacular when you walk in there and you see all the, the balconies and
Oh yeah. You
Yeah,
can
no.
even see the elevator going up.
the elevator going up. And
Yeah.
one of my sons is a security guard there. He works for the state police. So
Now,
got the Thompson Center and.
I understand the building just west of there, which the state has had for some time, the gray building. They now name it the Bolandic
It's
building.
the Landic building.
Really?
Yeah.
I was at a breakfast recently, a retirees breakfast,
Yeah.
and someone says, "Why
Now
don't they name it
that
after
would be a
Daly?" I
whole-
mean, I said,
A lot of people would know.
"Daly Center."
Daly Center.
Isn't that after Richard J.,
Daly City College.
Yeah.
By the way, you know who meets in the Bolandic building? And I didn't notice the state Supreme Court. I always thought they met in Springfield.
Springfield.
Oh.
They meet in the Bolandic building,
Oh, yeah?
160
Well, don't they ever
North.
meet down there?
Huh?
They ever meet down there?
I don't know, but that's where the courthouse is.
That's
160
interesting.
North LaSalle. Yeah, Illinois
He was
State
the Chief Justice, wasn't he? Or?
He was a justice.
justice,
He wasn't
but
the chief
He wa-
justice.
yeah, and of course he was mayor of Chicago too.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh,
But interestingly enough,
mayor.
the
You don't remember that,
state
Jack?
Supreme Court building
Yeah, when it
used to
snows,
have
you'll
living
remember.
quarters for the
blinked.
justices.
You blinked.
I mean, down in
Oh,
Springfield.
down in Springfield.
Yeah, it was like a dormitory almost.
Oh.
They had the Supreme Court building. They had the library in the same building, and then upstairs were living quarters, suites for the justices.
I wonder if they just use it maybe when they were in session, or because they probably all came from
Mm-hmm.
their own homes.
I'm sure, but
Yeah.
if your home is up in Chicago,
Yeah.
you need something
yeah,
like
you're
that
not-
in Springfield.
Except Governor Blagojevich, who
That
I guess
probably,
went back
so,
and forth
Such a live town at
every
night.
day.
It's probably saved a lot of rental motels and whatever for them,
Yeah. They should have rented out.
The hotel industry should got a hold of that one, huh?
Yeah, right. Should have
Jack, you're in
rented
the
out.
wrong career.
Yeah.
But
You should be a
yeah, well,
comedian.
yeah, well, it looks at everything though.
A lot of historians are comedians. Yeah.
A lot of I think there's a lot of humor in what you see anyway.
Oh, definitely.
Will
You have
Rogers
to
said
see
he
the
always
humor.
got his material from the Congress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Right.
he'd do very well now.
Oh yeah. Oh, he'd have.
What did Mark Twain
We
say?
can't pass it.
Suppose
We
I was
gotta
a
go home.
politician. Suppose I was an idiot. Now I'm
Would've saved
repeating
lots of
myself.
voices.
We'll save it.
Mark Twain said, "Suppose I'm a politician. Suppose I'm an idiot." Wait a minute, now I'm repeating myself.
Oh, good one. Good one.
Rogers too said, when Congress makes a bill, it's a joke, and then when they make a joke, it's a bill. Something like that.
The biography was just on again with his son
Oh yeah.
just recently. A lot of those lines are in there.
He was.
What was it that Reagan said about the Congress and about the government? When they come knocking at the door.
Oh yeah, that's the worst thing in the world you can hear.
I'm from the government.
I'm going to do
I'm going to help you.
Who was it said, no one's fortune is safe while Congress is in session or something like that? Yeah, like when they say, you're going to shut the government down. Good, shut it
Good.
down.
Oh yeah, they can't make yeah.
Please.
Well, Will Rogers is to me his great line. He said, "I am not a member of an organized political party. I'm a Democrat."
Is that some kind of a testimonial banquet or something? And some politician got up and talked. And he says to him when he talked way longer than he was supposed to. He says, "Sorry about talking so long. There was no clock on the wall." He said, "Well, you didn't see that calendar over there, did you?"
Oh my God.
Did you ever hear the time when he was going to be introduced? He was in a line being introduced with Calvin Coolidge, the president.
All right.
And the guy next to Will says, "I bet you can't get him to smile because he never." So he said, "Bet me $10." So they bet $10. So he's introduced. He said, "Will, this is the president of the United States," and
Calvin Coolidge.
yeah, and Will says, "I didn't catch the
Sorry,
name."
you didn't get
And Coolidge smiled.
Coolidge, conversely, some lady says to him,
Oh,
I bet someone I can get you to say more than 2 words. And he said, you
You
lose.
you lose. Yeah.
Then there was the time that Coolidge was coming back from church on Sunday, and a couple of reporters convened on him and asked how the service was, because the president was new in town, and this is the first time he was at that church. And the president said, it was a good service. And then the reporter asked, "What about the president's, or what about the minister's sermon?" And Coolidge said, "Well, it was about sin." And the reporter says, "Well, what about sin? He was against it."
Yeah. What did the minister say? Oh, he was against it. Oh yeah. Oh,
Oh, God.
what the opposite?
Yeah, good memories.
You're talking about Teddy Roosevelt and McKinley. McKinley didn't even.
He didn't campaign.
He did campaign. It was what they call it, the front porch.
Yeah.
Front porch campaign.
He sat on his front porch in Canton, Ohio,
Yeah.
and just let the campaign run itself.
Yeah. Well, he had Teddy running around.
Yeah.
Giving the speeches.
And Teddy, the only reason Teddy became vice president is because they didn't want him to become governor of New York.
Get rid of him.
Because
Yeah.
he was,
Yeah,
'cause he was
right,
talking
yeah.
about running for governor of
Kick
New
him
York,
upstairs?
and they figured we'll make him vice president.
Little more, we'll never hear of him again.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
It's like being banished to Siberia.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
No, we are right on on the score here. Our topic for today were disasters and big things,
Yeah.
and we're right on it.
Right on
With the government, the disaster,
Number one,
the
huh?
biggest one.
They can't stop
Biggest-
spending.
oh,
They can't pass a
Hasn't
bill.
it just become a mess?
Oh.
It is. I mean, they say don't talk about it, but
Yeah.
Every generation might
This-
say that,
this-
but it seems this is
Yeah.
near the ultimate.
Well,
You know, my daughter had the right perspective.
Other than the Catholic Church.
when she was in high school, she looked at me once and she says, "You know, there's a way to make this world a better place." And I says, "Oh?" And she says, "You know, yes, it would be a better place if they would simply do my will."
Oh, yeah. She's arrived. She's yeah.
I'm 65. I haven't even thought about doing a will yet.
Yeah.
it's too early.
Too early.
Too early.
Live forever.
Nothing too well.
The state will do it for you.
What was it? Talk about the government. What did Milton Friedman say? Take any, you know, folks from the University of Chicago, the
Sure.
economist, Nobel.
Yeah.
I'm talking for the benefit of our audience.
Yeah.
But Nobel Prize winner. He said, take any 3 letters of the alphabet, you can find some committee, agency, department that you had absolutely no need for.
Yeah. And you never
I'm
heard
sure.
of it. Yeah.
Right.
I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
doubt that one bit.
That's this is a shame is that they refuse to stop spending money that they don't have.
No.
Let's spend some more.
Yeah.
Let's create some more. You know.
Yeah.
They've all got questionnaires out now. I just got a couple, and
Yeah.
one of the subjects is, what would you like to
Yeah.
see be done?
Yeah.
And it's one of them is.
They need ideas almost, huh?
Yeah.
Why do you need ideas?
Ideas.
You know?
Right.
But
Yeah.
the one is, stop spending.
Yeah. Yeah.
Duh.
Even, yeah.
Yeah.
Even a couple of
Wow,
years
what a
ago,
concept.
they finally repealed
Never
a
thought of
telephone
that.
tax
Yeah.
that originated during the Spanish-American
American
War.
War.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they see they'll pass
Because it was a
these
luxury
things.
to have a phone then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
they'll form
Yeah.
a committee or whatever, which makes sense at that time. They'll impose a tax that makes sense, and then they keep it on the books long after it's
Forever.
outlived its
I know.
usefulness.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
a refund
Is
on
money
that.
coming in? So
You know, well, we find it in the fire department too. You know, they really, in the old days, they never, or seldom ever rescinded anything.
Mhm.
I'll give you a good example. I was in communication. If you go to a fire alarm box now that's protecting the school, it's interconnected all, to the fire, both the alarm, internal alarm, and then the fire alarm office. There's a telegraph key in there.
The Joker. Yeah.
You can tap it, tap in. My son was running a fire drill one time, and he was showing his guys how to reset the system. You have to reset the system, and they have to wind the box because it's electromechanical. He said, "See the telegraph key? It works." He said, "What?" And he goes, "Bing, bing, 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 bing."
Yeah.
There's a little tapper bell. Next thing you hear, ding, 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 ding,
Oh,
ding.
I got
They
it,
run.
yeah.
He
Yeah.
said, "I you know how to call for an ambulance or something like that? Send 3-5 and pull the box. They're going to send you an." I had that happen to me one time. Before you had cell phones and all that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
that goes back to the horse and buggy.
Yeah. When I was about 9 or 10 years old, I used to hang out on weekends at my uncle's firehouse, which was Engine 14. And they still had what they called the Joker, but it was a telegraph key.
Oh, sure.
And they still communicated. I mean, I thought, I was in,
John's
in
tapping out.
a Civil War communications room because there were guys tapping out on a telegraph.
All my
in the
career,
1950s.
I went up to 1991. We still. By the way, when my son was captain in '91 at Diversey in Pulaski, he had a high school girl come in there, and she was writing a report on the fire department. And anyway, he showed her the report he had to make out, and he used a piece of carbon paper. He didn't know what carbon paper was. Remember, you were talking, Jeanette, about stuff that
Oh, I
Yeah.
could think of so many things.
a
that-
bit of all the things,
Yeah.
what's carbon
Cleaning
paper?
out my stuff the other day, I thought, what's in there?
Yeah.
Carbon paper.
Carbon
There you
paper.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They,
Collector's item.
That's what I was.
they
I'm not
still-
giving it up.
they still use carbon paper. We use carbon paper in the fire alarm.
Yeah.
When I first get
Well,
to
when
make a
was the
copy.
last time? I mean, the last horse-drawn engine in the fire department was finally decommissioned in what, 1926, something
23,
like that?
February 5th,
Okay.
23. Yeah.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
made a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
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 Well,
Yeah.
you know, nurses too, you know, write all day long. I mean,
Yeah.
in a minute I say, how are you?
Yeah. Yeah. I said,
Wow.
how are you? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All day long, you know. People don't realize that.
What the one doctor I've got amazed me here a while back, and he asked me about getting a prescription refilled and that, and he's got a laptop in front of him, and you know, I noticed that that's all he was doing that, and I said, well, give me that prescription. He says, it's all done.
It's over
Yeah.
there.
It's all done. He
It's
just
all-
bingo. It
Yeah.
just goes
Yeah.
in. I said, am I done here? Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Put your
That's
pants back on and go.
That's a good-
And this was a dentist.
Whoa.
Oh,
You had to get
Bill.
that in.
Listen, by the way, we have, and thanks to Ken and a few guys, we are going to have a display of the old Joker system at the museum. They're working on it, and it is really something. I mean, it's up to date, where you come in and explain the whole thing, the you know, how alarms were called in and sent, and it is really neat.
Yeah,
That's something.
They'll
that's
have
gotta
a picture, a person calling, you know, fire department and dispatching and whoop. what do you do?
Alarming.
Is-
Alarming. It's
Yeah.
alarming.
Is the museum open other than a weekend? Is it open during the week? Or?
Only by request.
Oh.
Normally it's the last Saturday of the month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
and we already had one this month because of the holidays. You know,
Yeah.
the last.
We'll
Saturday
come out
there.
with a schedule then.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
for
Generally,
the
it's
next
always
year.
the last. Yeah.
Fine
Yeah.
with what I do as job. It
Yeah.
interferes with so much of my, not interferes,
Yeah,
but, you know,
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
do that or I can't
I
do
know.
It's
that.
well
But
worth
it's
the
okay.
trip. Really
It's,
is.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
going to say it was
Chief,
okay,
that one
thank
truck
you.
alone is restored, so
Yeah, we have two fire trucks that are completely restored. And Pat, you
Yeah.
got to get, if you haven't been down there, you got.
I've been down there.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have
You'll
you
get
seen
it.
it?
Oh,
Here
it's
in
a
Fox
Saturday,
Bumper?
huh?
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure. Saturday, or is there?
It'll be the last Saturday in January, I would imagine.
Yeah, I-
next
yeah.
year.
Yeah,
Well,
next year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to wait a whole year.
Boy.
Yeah. We are open on special occasions if we get, we had the Genealogy Society there, and it was the day of the anniversary of the Chicago fire, was October 8th, and we we took information and gave genealogy on 13 of their members. They had people in the fire department. And what we can do is, if you had someone in the fire department, say like Pat had an uncle who was killed at a fire, he was
Right.
lieutenant of 112. You know, we have a picture of the house, which is still standing, as it turns out. In fact, the Mayor Emanuel is using that. You know, his bodyguards using that house.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Byron and Hermitage.
Ah.
But a picture of the apparatus, and we have a record of the history, and he's mentioned in our history book. You know that, so we can you know. You can say, here is the apparatus that Grandma or
Actual,
Grandpa actually,
yeah.
or Grandpa, you know, actually
Right.
wrote to the
And
rig.
that's our aim, to do that for
Yeah,
people to
yeah.
come
And,
in.
and even go back into the horse-drawn days. We did research on a guy who worked the Chicago Fire. We actually came up with a picture of him. We had a photo
Oh,
of him.
my. That's something.
So, yeah. So,
Well, Tower 2, which used to be at Engine 14's quarters, I used to play on that tower when I was about 5 or 6 years old.
See?
yeah.
So
Can you
I
imagine?
showed Katie, my daughter, that engine at one of the musters
Yeah,
that they
yeah.
had at the academy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I took this friend of mine, Carolyn, you've met her. And I said, Carolyn, I am going to give you a very, very rare privilege that I have not given anyone else before. And she said, what is this?
Yeah.
And I said, I am going to let you sit in that engine over there. That is the one that I played on when I was
Yeah.
a little
Oh,
kid.
my Lord.
And she says, well, I see you've graduated to playing with other things.
Pat, Chet,
Jeanette, we preserved it. That
It's-
it's a
Yeah.
25
It's
C
in
grave.
better shape than it was
Then-
when I
then-
when
yeah.
I when
It
I
runs,
remember.
it runs,
Yeah.
it runs.
Guys, we're
Wow.
starting to break here.
Just for-
We're just about over.
for benefit of all of our listeners out there who haven't called in today, but who can't, Pat, where is Engine 14?
Engine 14 was over, at the time, it was over on Chicago Avenue, right by the river, right by the Montgomery Ward's headquarters building. There is an Engine 14 further down on Chicago Avenue now, but it's not the same. It's not the same one. The building itself, Engine 14's building that I remember, had been built right after the Chicago fire. In fact, it even had, we joked about horse-drawn equipment and how the fire department doesn't get rid of things. They even had upstairs the room where they kept the hay, and they had a buggy whip, which was used when they had horse-drawn equipment.
Bill used that to maintain discipline at his firehouse.
I mentioned Minnesota. My grandfather was a proprietor of the city garage where all the equipment was kept, and he showed me a picture of the horse-drawn bit, and it seemed like it had a glass circular back to it where they kept the water and more.
Yeah.
This is a lot of wooded area.
Yeah.
You're not going to find a fire hydrant or anything.
No.
But when you think of it,
They got a
were
hollow.
they
yeah,
even
sure.
prepared?
Yeah.
Many a barn burned down, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
there
because
was
you
nothing
didn't
there.
have, you had no water out in the rural
Right,
areas. Yeah.
right.
Well.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. I want to thank
Jeanette.
Jeanette for being here. I'm just looking at the name, make sure I get it right.
Ladies
Secret
first.
Frontier.
Ladies first.
And Pat Butler, our guest today, and we hope you can come back anytime. Now, matter of fact, give me your information when you leave.
Will do.
Dad, plus, do you have an email?
I'll give you my card.
Wow. I am impressed. I never had a card till I quit the job.
There you go. Would you pass that down?
And to my right, Richard Lang. Richard. And Bill Kugelman.
Yes.
With his
Goodbye.
USC outfit on there.
Oh, yes.
USC Trojans.
My $50,000 shirt.
I used to use those.
Yes. Cost me that for 1 year sending the grandson.
And last but not least, little Ken Little himself. Yeah, we're talking about next broadcast, January 16th, next year, folks.
Can you believe that?
And we'll think of a topic by then. And we thank you for listening. And by the way, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Very good.
And
Thank you.
Happy
same
Hanukkah.
to you.
And I
Good
want to
health.
thank everybody for being here with us today on Meet the Chicago Historians on Monday, December the 19th. And once again, we'll be back on the air again next year, January the 16th, the year 2012. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, friends. God bless you and stay healthy.